Okay, all right, now we're ready. Okay, let's start chapter 5 called Elf Ladies. My head clunked down on my desk real hard. Mr. Scary read the name on my paper. I raised up and I looked at him. Then I clunked back down again. Mr. Scary said to please knock off that clunking. He took my hand and stood me up. Boys and girls, Junie B needs a little bit of help reading the name, he said. We'll be right back. Then, quick as a wink, he hurried me into the hall, and he closed the door. I crossed my mad arms again. It's not fair, Mr. Scary. I hate that dumb name. I hate it. I hate it, I said. My teacher snapped his fingers. You know I don't allow that word in my classroom, Junie B, he said. We do not hate in room 1. I looked all around myself. But I'm not hating in room 1, I said. I'm hating in the hall. Mr. Scary looked at me. We don't hate in the hall either, he said. I raised my eyebrows real curious. Really? No kidding? I said. A lot of children will be surprised to hear that. Mr. Scary bent down next to me. Look, I know you and May aren't the best of friends, he said. But this is a time of peace and goodwill, remember? And being a secret Santa to someone you don't like is the truest form of goodwill there is. I stared at him. How do teachers come up with this stuff? Really, Junie B, he said, if you do something nice for May, you'll feel so proud inside. You will feel like a gift that you've been given yourself. I just kept staring. Maybe they pick it up at teacher school. After that, he ruffled my hair and he walked me back inside. Pretty soon all of the children lined up at the door, and we followed Mr. Scary to the gift shop. The media center is down the hall and around the corner. There was a gift shop lady with an elf hat. Welcome, room 1, she said. Welcome to our holiday gift shop. She smiled at us with big white teeth. I am the president of the PTO, she said. My name is Mrs. Hooks, but just for today, you can call me Elf Ellen. She looked all around. Some of you might even know my son, Jeff. Jeff is a big 3rd grader. Roger raised his hand in the air. Yeah, I know Jeff Hooks, he said. Jeff Hooks stole my milk money last year. Elf Ellen stood there very frozen. Then she quick pointed across the room. Over there is Elf Wendy. Elf Wendy and I are here to help you with your gift selections. If you have any questions, please just let us know. Roger waved his hand again. Did Jeff Hooks ever get punished for what he did? I reported him to the office, but I never got my money back. Elf Ellen squinted her eyes at him. I meant questions about the gift shop, she said. After that, she passed out a list of all the gift items on them, and she told us about the prices. Children, as you can see, each of our 5 gift tables has a number on it, she said. The number on the table matches the price of all the gifts on that particular table. She pointed. For example, all of the gifts on table 1 sell for $1, and all of the gifts on table 2 sell for $2, and all the gifts on table 3 sell for $3, and so on. Does everyone understand? Sheldon raised his hand. What about the gifts on table 4? He said. How much do they go for? Elf Ellen sucked in her cheeks. Table 4 has a 4 on it, doesn't it? 4 means 4, so they sell for $4. Sheldon nodded, very thoughtful. Ah, I see, he said. And table 5? Elf Ellen looked at Mr. Scary. Is he pulling my leg? Mr. Scary grinned, and Sheldon grinned too. Roger called out another question. Where's the table 35 cents? He asked. That's how much Jeff Hook still owes me. Is their table 35 cents? Elf Ellen glared her eyes at Roger, and then she quick reached out into her pocket, and she gave him 35 cents. There, she said, are you satisfied? After that, she took off her elf hat, and she put it on the counter, and she said she is going on break. Roger smiled. Mr. Scary smiled too. move on to chapter 6 called Giving. Well, Elf Wendy clapped her hands together, and she said, it's time for us to browse around, except for please do not break the toys, and please do not eat the candy canes, and please do not blow our nose on the handkerchiefs. I skipped to table 2 real excited because I already saw something that I loved. Crayons. They got crayons, I said, very thrilled. I picked them up and looked inside, and look, the red has a sharp head, and Greenie isn't not even a stubby. I breathed their brand new smell. I would love to buy these things, I said. Just then my friend Herbert pulled me over to table 1. Tattoos. They've got tattoos, Junie B. They really, really look real, he said. I did a gasp at those things. There were pirate tattoos and dragon tattoos and dinosaur tattoos and kitty cat tattoos. Plus also they had a nice variety of swamp animals. Whoa! That is all the tattoos a kid could ever dream of, I said. I would love to buy those things. Then, all of a sudden, my eyes glanced over at table 3, and my whole entire mouth fell open. It was glow-in-the-dark barrettes. I yelled real excited. I've always wanted these things. Cool, said Herb. I know they are cool, Herbert, I said, because if you lose your hair in the dark, you will always be able to find it. Just then, I felt a tap on my shoulder, and I spun around. It was May. You shouldn't be wanting to buy gifts for yourself, Junie Jones, she said. We are here to buy gifts for others. I put my hands over my ears. Oops, bad news. I can't hear you, I said. May raised up her voice. It is nicer to give than to receive, she shouted. Giving is the spirit of the holiday season. I am a giver. I give, and I give, and I give, and I give. Just then I thought I heard another voice. I turned around to look. Mr. Scary was calling out some words to us, I think. Yeah, only I can't actually hear you. I've got my hands over my ears, I called back. He walked over to me and he took my hands away, and his face did not look happy. You 2 aren't having another problem, are you? He asked. I shook my head very rapid. Nope. No siree, I said. I was just being thrilled at these gifts. That's all I was doing. May stood up real proud. And I was just telling her to be a giver like me, she said. My mother says that some people are born to be givers and other people are born to be shellfish. She glanced her eyes at me, and I stood there very puzzled. Then I looked up at Mr. Scary. I don't even care for shellfish, I said, and I did a little smile. He said May and I could browse some more, but to please keep our voices down. Oh, and what do you know? As soon as he said that, we heard the loudest noise of all, and it was called, ha! Someone in room 1 did the giantest burp in the world. Our heads spun around, and we could not believe our eyeballs. Lucille! It was Lucille! We shouted. Then all of us started laughing at once. Lucille burped! She burped! She burped! We hollered together. I didn't even know rich people burped, I said. Me neither, said Sheldon. I am pleasantly surprised. Lucille stamped her expensive foot. But I didn't burp. I didn't, she yelled. And she held up a round toy in her hand, and it looked like a beanbag sort of thing. It was this thing, she said. This thing burped, not me. Lucille gave it a squeeze, and ha! Another giant burp. Room 1 laughed until our sides hurt. Even May was laughing. Plus, Mr. Scary was laughing too. A good burp can bring the whole world together, I tell you. Mr. Scary went to table 5, and he read us some information about that toy. Got that one right there. It's called a Squeeze-A-Burp. It costs $5, and it's called a squeeze-a-burp, he said. All of us clapped that silly name. Squeeze-a-burp, we hollered. A squeeze-a-burp again, Mr. Scary. Mr. Scary smiled, but he shook his head no, and he put it back on the table. I think we've had enough burping for one day, don't you? He said. Room 1 did a groan. How can you have too much burping? Said Jose. Burping is pure entertainment. Sheldon nodded. I agree. My grandpa can burp the Star-Spangled Banner, he said. I've been trying to bring him in for show and tell, but he's booked solid. I looked at Sheldon very admiring. He comes from a talented family, I think. And after that, all the children hurried to table 5, and we gathered around the squeeze-a-burps. We read the writing on one of the bags, and it said, Squeeze-a-burp, the world's biggest belch in a bag. That gift is a genius, I said. I would love to buy that thing. Well, who wouldn't, said Lenny. See, said Jose, even my grandmother would love a belch in a bag. Shirley slumped his shoulders. I just wish it didn't cost $5 whole, he said. $5 is a lot of money for a burp. Yeah, said Sheldon. Except for my grandpa, everyone in my family still burps for free. After that, all of a sudden, children walked away to browse some more. Only not me. I kept standing there, 'cause a squeeze-a-burp was the funnest gift I ever heard of. And I had to have one of those things. I tell you, I just had to. Chapter 7 tomorrow, doing the math.